and thanks for joining me. I'm gonna do a quick unboxing of the Crafter's Companion box number 17. It's all about shaker cards, and it can make a minimum of 18 cards, and so let's dive in. These boxes are always really fantastically packed. I have to admit I'm a sucker for packaging, so I'm always really happy every time I open up one of these boxes. Okay, so you get two stamp sets. So one is sentiments, and one thing I really love about the Crafter's Companion sentiments that they include in these kits is I love when they do this, where they've got like a combination of like a standard font, and then they have in larger letters and a more brush script font a couple words just as extra emphasis. And I really love that style because it just always looks so neat to me. So and they do it fairly often. So like in the happy birthday, have a wonderful day. All of their sentiments are really very general purpose, all occasion. What I've noticed is that you almost always get a birthday sentiment, but a lot of things are like, you know, hope your day is as special as you are, or have a special day. So you can use it for a lot of different occasions, not just, specific holidays or birthdays and whatnot. But I think most of us do make a lot of birthday cards, so that's why you often see a lot of birthday sentiments. So that's the first thing is sentiment stamps. The next is a lot of little things. Oh man, it's a lot of little coloring, I think. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna go, but there's a weird selection or collection of things here. So there's some nature scenes. I mean, these are good scene builder elements. So you've got, but scale wise, they don't really all make sense. So, like, that flower is about the same size as the tree. So, I don't know. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so there's a collection of what looks like very nature stuff. So you've got flowers, leaves, butterflies, the tree, things like that. Couple trees, a few flowers. You've got some animals. So you've got your butterflies. There's a cute little rabbit, a bird. Oh, there's a unicorn, turtle. Oh, and then you have sea animals. Then you've got the turtle, the a fish, a seahorse, and a starfish, and a mermaid. And then you've got some generic sort of celebratory things like a stack of presents and balloons. And then you've got some different houses. So that's kind of interesting. These little elements might also be fun for those exploding pop-up boxes too. So that's kind of cute. The die set is, this will be super useful. So the die set is a couple of sets of nested frames, and it looks like you get some circles that are, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the circles, and 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Oh, and then and 2 in the heart shape. So 3 different shapes, variety of sizes. They are not super huge. So the largest square is 2 3/4. The largest circle is about 2 3/4, and the largest heart is 1 3/4. So they're not huge, but for shaker windows, I think they'll work really well. Plus, you get some sentiments, which is always really nice. I'm really liking. Lately, I've been die cutting my sentiments a lot, and I have been started slowly building up a stash of die cut sentiments. So this looks like it's hello and love. That means all of these are gonna need to be fussy cut. I am not a huge fan of fussy cutting, but I guess these look simple enough. Some of them are just really small, so it might just be a matter of stamping and coloring and not die cutting. Um, but I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. Um, so there's the stamp set and die set. You get a roll of foam, which makes sense if you're making shaker cards. This is really light and pretty thick foam. I think it's probably, I would say maybe 2 millimeters thick, which is good because it's thicker than what I normally use. And what I normally use, I have to double up to get like a good thickness where the shaker bits can really move. So that's a pretty good thickness. As is common for all of these box kits, it seems, is a set of ribbon in 3 different sizes and 3 different colors. And what, one of the things I really like, even though I don't typically use a lot of ribbon on my cards, what I do like is that they don't give you like a huge amount per color and size. So I think they go more for variety than like one color, one size, but they give you a boatload. So what I have found is that usually what they give you is enough for maybe 1, maybe 2 cards per like strip. And I prefer that because I'd rather have a quantity that I can use up rather than just kind of continue to sit around in my craft room and not get used. And it is nice to have the variety of widths. So I almost prefer that, for each strip, it's not a crazy length of ribbon. The only thing I don't like is that it is packaged this way, so you get these, when you straighten this out, you do see these kind of fold lines, which is kind of hard to get to straighten and flatten out. And then you always get a sheet of flatback pearls, which is really nice and always coordinates with the colorway that's in the kit. And one of the things I really appreciate, and I think is kind of unique to their box kits, is that they include card bases and matching envelopes, but their card bases are always in, what I've noticed so far is at least 3 different sizes and shapes. So I have found that generally you'll always get a 5x7 and an A2 size, or not just one, but multiples. But so you get usually cards in those 2 sizes, 5x7 and A2, and then you'll get something different. So in this case, it's a square card that's maybe 5-inch square. And sometimes you'll get stuff like easel card bases that are already pre-scored and folded. You'll get like those tunnel shadow box style card bases, again, that are already cut to size, scored, and folded for you. So a lot of times, you might get something that is a new, fun fold style of card base that if it is new to you, you can always kind of save one of those card bases to use as a template. If you really enjoyed making a card in that size, shape, and style, you can have something to refer back to and create more of. So I really like this, and obviously they also include the envelopes too, so you can definitely have something to mail that out in. And then you get a lot of shaker bits. So there's 4 very generously sized bags of they're calling it confetti sequins. So these are really flat, so they're not your kind of dimensional sequins, but you get a lot of them, and I think they all have that iridescent sheen to them, so in different angles and different light, they're kind of different colors. Oh, that's kind of cool. So you got your yellow, pinky purple, bluish greens, and then I really like white iridescent shaker bits because you can put them in with anything. Actually, some of the sequins here are dimensional. So, yeah, so I guess that kind of makes sense because they do say it's confetti sequin, so it is a mix of both. Some of the bits are super tiny, but yeah, that's kind of fun, and you get a lot, so this will definitely make way more than 18 cards. Then, you get some pattern paper, and so these are the designs that come in the kit. So 2, 4, 6, there's 8 unique patterns, and I think there's 3 sheets of each. These are single-sided. They're actually a decent weight layering paper, almost on the verge of like, it's probably less than 65 pounds, but it's not flimsy like copy paper. It's thicker than that. So this is kind of a cool color palette. It's much more toned down and muted than some of the other kits that I've gotten and used in the past. So that's kind of nice, a nice little change. And then you get, and that's also 8x8. These colored cardstock sheets are also 8x8 and 6 different colors, and I think probably also 3 of each color. And you can see it matches, it coordinates really, really well with the pattern paper. So all of the pattern papers will have something in the solid that matches. So that's really nice. And then what's a shaker card without acetate? Okay, so Crafter's Companion acetate is really nice. It's super thick stuff. I mean, this is good stuff. I am a little bit precious about using their acetate, and to be honest, I probably won't even use this on the shaker cards because you don't really need this level of stiffness. I mean, this is super good stuff. So I will most likely use my own acetate, which is thinner than this, to layer behind my shaker windows. And what's nice, it's hard to tell, but it does say remove film before use. So that's kind of nice because that means that there's a protective film on here so that before you go to use this, you can peel it off, and hopefully, as you're handling it, like whatever fingerprints you get on here, that'll be on the protective film and not on the acetate itself. Although I'm having a hard time figuring out how to get the film off. Yeah, it's definitely there. I wonder if it's on both sides. So I was able to lift that up so you can see it's really thin film, but the acetate is crystal clear. When you look at this, it seems like, oh, it's so cloudy, but it's not. That's just the protective film on there. But anyways, yeah, their acetate, super good. I love this stuff. So anything where, let me just show you for comparison. So here's my acetate. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just bending over on, its own weight. It can't even stand up straight. It just flops over. Much thinner, so if you can hear that, versus this. And this does have, that protective film, but still, like, if I was to hold this up, I mean, it's gonna hold up on its own. This is collapsing on its own weight. So, but for a shaker window, like this quality, thinness of acetate is just fine. It's more for like when you're maybe creating a box, and this is your box lid or something, where you want something a little bit more sturdy and like a construction weight acetate. That's what these are good for. So yeah, whenever I get acetate in these box kits, I'm always a little bit precious about it, and I often don't use it unless I really need that extra kind of sturdiness where it sticks up. The other thing this is really good for is if you are making one of those exploding pop-up boxes, and let's say you want to have like a butterfly look like it's just floating or flying in midair, using acetate that's strong like this, where it will, stand up straight and that butterfly won't just flap over. Like, I would not be able to use this acetate because the butterfly, if I were to stick any sort of paper or anything at the end of that, I mean, this won't even stand on its own, much less have a die cut attached to it. So that's where, like, this is really good stuff if you were, creating those exploding pop-up boxes and you wanted something to kind of look like it's suspended in midair. The other thing that this is really good for is I recently did a card using one of the Crafter's Companion box kits, and I made like a wiper card, and so it's really good for that too if you want, again, to have that look of something kind of suspended in midair. So that's really high quality stuff. The paper, by the way, is just it's just so. It's probably about the same weight as the printed paper, to be honest, and I think it's a white core. So their solid color cardstock isn't anything super special. It's just a nice layering weight. The card bases, though, these are pretty good. These are pretty thick. It's probably at least 100 pound, maybe 110. Possibly 120. But it's definitely thicker than 80-pound paper. I think it's at least 100 pound. So that's a good quality card base. I generally make my card bases out of 110 or 120 pound paper. So yeah. This is a pretty fun kit. I think I always love making shaker cards, so I think it'll definitely be fun to dive into this kit. The challenge when I do flip this kit, though, is going to be creating, the more flat cards. Although I think for the stamps I might be able to come up with something. It'll be interesting. I mean, I think I can make an exploding box with all of these cute little elements and that strong acetate. So I might go that direction for my pop-up. The interactive card, I'll definitely go the obvious route and make a shaker card. I'll see if some inspiration hits and I can come up with anything else. Layered cards are really easy to make. I generally find that anytime you have pretty patterned paper and solid color cardstock, you can always come up with a pretty layered card. So and especially with these nested shape dies, I think that'll be really easy. The flat card, though, that might take some thinking. So that's this box. Stay tuned and subscribe or hit the notification bell so when I do publish a flip of this box kit, you'll get a notification and you can check out what I decided to do. I try not to watch too many other videos, including the inspiration videos that Crafter's Companion releases on their website, just so that I don't inadvertently kind of steal somebody else's idea, but they do always have a lot of inspiration on the packaging itself and a entirely separate website, crafterscompanionbox.com, where you can see short videos of the different cards that they make using the kit. So that's always a source for inspiration too. So until my flip video, have a fantastic day and happy crafting. Bye!